Creation. A world on the brink. In the age of sorrows, dangers abound and cataclysms loom on the horizon. But it is not without heroes. The exalted, those chosen and empowered by the mightiest of the gods, are all around the world. They have and can pull it back from the precipice of oblivion. That is when they aren't too busy fighting each other. Now, chill Zazora.
You play to win the game. Hello? That's the great thing about sports. You don't play to just play.
Korak as Lythander.
Did you know, in terms of... I don't even know where I'm going with this. Hello, everybody.
Alatos as Gavel. PC assembly is hell. That's what real hell is. With special guest star Darren as Dokuzan.
It is a lovely pleasure to meet all of you.
And Gamerex as everyone else. Kos, who some call Kazam, do you hear our prayers? Grant us eyes, grant us eyes. Must band together to save the dreaming sea, and perhaps reality itself, for the greatest that creation has ever known. The Nihil Curtain. All this and more on FateBreakers.
And at last, bark bark.
Alatos, computer is on fire, and he should be in, hopefully within the next hour or so of recording, so enough for...
Yeah, there is active hot swapping of hardware
Yes.
going on. Wish them well.
Yes. Issues have occurred.
And as mentioned, as you may have figured out by now, we have a guest star. Would you care to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Darren. You may be familiar with me from the actual play Crimes of Nature that I ran on a Twitch channel for our 8th Braving Loon. As part of the Pit Crew, is a wider stream group. A lot of people in that, Ty Tuesday, MDCT, Wandering Newbie, Son of Bozu. Now if I don't get all of them, I'm gonna feel bad. Smite, Voice of Dog, Crumbs, Thumbs, Wandering... Did I say no Wandering Newbie? Should have been paying more active attention as to the names that I said. There's a lot of them, and some of them were in a game that I ran. I also did a bunch of old LPs that are on the Something Awful LP archive. They're like, Jesus Christ, almost 15 years old now, so there was some language there that I wouldn't use these days, but I still think that a lot of what I worked there was pretty good. And I'm here because GameRex was a fan of my actual play and invited me to be a guest character, and from the options I was handed, some of them sounded pretty fun, and I decided to go with it.
Crimes of Nature is an excellent series. I highly recommend. It kept me sane working an internship.
Yeah, I will also warn you, it's 60 episodes long, and each are about 3 to 4 hours long, so you're getting into it if you get into it. And I don't blame you if you don't, because it's a lot, but I am very, very proud of it, and it is very, very funny. I had some of the most talented and hilarious player characters I have ever ran in a game for.
Now you may ask, Rex, did you start this podcast just to be able to talk to the Crimes of Nature guy? No, I started this podcast as a secret ploy to gather a group for Torg Eternity in 10 years.
Besides, we were already talking on Discord before you started this podcast.
You played us like a
Yes,
damn
exactly.
fiddle!
Also, it's because I wanted to run Exalted for 10 years ever since I opened Sidereal's 1E and saw the magic power that lets you heal someone by shooting them in the face.
Oh, yeah, no, Sidereal's first edition being your first exposure to Exalted is both a very congratulations and I'm sorry kind of experience.
There are worse ways that could have gone,
There are much
thankfully,
worse books you could have picked. Sidereal's first edition is more, yeah, that'll get you into the system door, but good luck trying to run it.
So, we do every session with a recap from an NPC, so, Sky Sundering Shadow, what happened last time? Football is what happened last time, dear narrator. Now, before I give the recap, I must ask, are you unsatisfied with your current lot in life? I mean, things could always be better. Would you like to move to a better new universe? Would that include stable housing and a, job continuing on this career path? It could. See me after the podcast. We could revisit this conversation. Now, what happened last time? I finally was able to directly face our circle of heroes on the field of battle, I naturally promised not to kill any of them, as I would rather not sever any relationship for my long-term, millennia-long project. Not for lack of the mighty necromancy I was wielding not trying, I did cast Atrocious Fire Transformation and almost melt the Ashen Ones. Apologies for that, but you all came out okay. So who can say whether or not that was good or bad? It was a close game of 3-2 was the final score, and while I did lose the actual football match, I did manage to secure a few immigrants to my new reality once I have that built up. So who could say whether that was a failure? Also, Lythander went to the library.
You see, they asked me how I work out, okay?
Fuck off.
Orabilis put tens of thousands of separate defenses and traps into his library, considered to be one of the most tightly guarded spots in creation. There was one approach he was not prepared for. Waltzing in the front door.
I was gonna say, let the guest ask. Was it just walking in
Yeah.
the front door like a complete dipshit? Because that tends to actually have a shocking success rate.
Lo and behold, it's what worked.
They never expect it. It's
They
always
never
it's
saw it
always the
coming.
one. It's always the one eventuality they never prepare for, baby. It's always great.
No
I
one would
think
be
the-
that stupid. Smash cut.
That was the undercurrent of the Crimes of Nature LP2, come to think
No,
of
yeah,
it.
no, I have a lot of experience with that one. Ask me about Thousand Miracles Yang sometime.
Player characters can take several convergent evolution forms, carcinization of character archetypes. Unfortunately, you weren't the only one to get inside there, as a result of pissing off an Infernal Exalt in the past during the Wild Hunt arc, he went in there and deliberately erased the information on how to safely destroy soulsteel.
Yeah.
Asterisk. Other Infernals who also raided that same library after they did, said that this was bullshit because not all of us are cartoon villains who want to inflict misery on other people just because they fucked us over. What are you doing? So there were several pathways in which to deal with the issue and find what you had established as a major goal of yours of, hey, maybe this metal of imprisoning thinking living people in screaming metal is not a good thing to have. Maybe we should have a way to get them out without killing them again. So, you were directed with a piece of paper on the name of it, directing you towards one Dokuzan. Gavel will be absent for a little bit, partially because of having to get you guys there after the soccer game. Several blocks walked away from her estate, past the giant screaming pillar of the cat outcropping. That demon is still there, still screaming. There is now a very conspicuous, an enormous gallon of water that you're pretty sure also has the same bigger on the inside enchantment that Lythander's magical flask does. Every so often, while still screaming, it swirps it up in one of its many tentacles and takes a massive gulp. Seems very annoyed by this, but it still keeps screaming nonetheless. Beyond that mountain, though, is Gavel gave you the directions to this Dokuzan entity, and let's go ahead and shift the map to the mood board of what this might look like, and I'll allow our guest star to give a little bit of stage setting here.
The territory of Dokuzan, the corpse at the edge of the water, is malleable, like all of the children of the Yozi Sorzeni. The indication that you got from the library was that this was the progeny of Kagami, City of Mirrors, the third circle demon of Soreni. The information on Dokuzan was a little sparse. It appears that this is a demon that has very specific cases in which it is invoked, and is otherwise left to stay in Malfeas, as it has a very particular set of skills. The area that you enter goes from the standard sort of overcrowded urban hell of Malfeas, the constant clamor of noise still hanging in the air, but now echoing and somewhat distant, as the sky grows thick with moisture and a lake is in front of you. It's difficult to tell whether it's a lake of tributary, if it is a feeder of a river, it's wide. It's still, and it is miraculously water. It is not Kimberly's acid. It is not the horrible corrosive liquids that are usually associated with standing bodies in Malfeas. It is just water. Just normal, potable, ordinary water. And on the shore of that lake is a prone body, washed up as if by the tide. It's difficult from a distance to make out any sort of discernible information about it. It appears to be waterlogged and bloated and partially rotten. The cloth upon it has been tattered and ripped to pieces, either by the tides, by entropy, or by things within the lake. And as the members of the circle approach the corpse, it props itself on one arm and begins to lift itself up. And, Rex, who would you say the first person it lays eyes on is?
I feel like it would be dramatically appropriate for it to be Aura, depending on if she has the Eclipse Truce field going or not from her Hearthstone anima bank.
Always do.
Alright, Aura it is. Let me do a quick roll.
Yeah, for reference, that is 7 successes on 6 dice from Dark-Eyed Stargazer, mortal sorcerer and member of Gavel's general inner circle, who took one look at this corpse entity. Even though he has no major knowledge of demons from his own field of study, his field of sorcery comes primarily from astrology. When you spend enough time around an Infernal Exalted, you pick up some things, so he leans aside to Lythander and just whispers, "Word of warning, this one's an asshole."
Word of warning, I'm one too.
Stargazer just makes
that's a lot.
His black and white,
That's a lot of successes on that dice.
skin crunching in just kind of dismay of, oh no. Oh, right!
Uh-oh.
Oh, right, I forgot about that ability.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so, as the corpse pulls itself up, there is the flash of an instant where whoever or whatever the body was of stops being healthy to look at. Your mind actively rebels at perceiving the state in between forms as it shifts. There's something there, and your eyes are desperately disobeying you, telling you not to look in the moment where it is something else. And when Aura's eyes are able to function again and quickly resolve the stare back, Aura is looking at herself. And, to be precise, Aura is looking at their own body. Their veins are black and shot and bursted. Eyes full of burst red capillaries with black venom creeping into the whites of the eyes. The blood in their face is saturated. Their gums are pulled back. Their muscles are racked from agonized spasms as the body pulls itself all the way up, making full eye contact with Aura, as Aura realizes, without fully understanding how, but being completely certain, that this is what they would have looked like if Mion had killed her.
I'm gonna go ahead and put two sets of fingers up to my neck, and then I'm going to attempt to commit a mote for Unconquered Sun's sight, because just wordlessly making a face like I'm just making a face like I just saw something that I can't describe, and I don't even want to attempt to put into words. I just need to make sure that what I'm looking at is I am attempting to make sure that I am looking at some sort of illusion.
let's just go ahead and, as we do that, content warning body horror throughout the whole episode.
Cool.
Yes, that is one of my fortes, and I have been given permission to have fun.
Yes.
Hmm.
So do you roll off to detect the illusion?
It says here.
So to be specific, that roll was if I choose a 14 success social influence of attack of my choosing against Aura.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I am holding back on having it be a direct social influence for now.
You have successfully established the menacing kanji around yourself.
Yes.
You know, and Aura will for the first time, as if attempting to shield herself from the grim reality of this sight. Aura's words will quiver into a quip. You know, this is definitely not what I expected coming off of the semifinal tournament match for that soccer tournament. But honestly, I'd never been to Malfeas. I don't know what I was expecting. Definitely not this. Lythander, am I dead?
Hey, wait.
No, not right now.
Who the heck is that? Who said that?
My name is Dokuzan. The corpse at the water's edge. And it is a pleasure to meet you, Aura.
Likewise. Hell of a way to make an impression, I must say.
You are putting on quite a brave face, and it is interesting. I see I struck a bit of a nerve, however. It appears that the first idea I reached for was a bit of a fresh wound for you.
It comes with...
Mion and I have a bit of a... not a history, but an observation on my end.
Did you turn him into that?
Oh, no, of course not, no. I simply found it incredibly funny that he thought that death would be the end in that way.
Right.
It wasn't, by the virtue of Ligier and the dragon behind the dragon behind deciding otherwise.
Right.
But eventually, death will come for him again, and it will not let go.
That's true.
Stargazer just mutters in the background, of course it was the fucking dragon's fault. And the mortal sorcerer is making very careful to never ever directly look at the demon, to always keep himself bodily behind the exalts. And I'm not sure if he's triggering anything of like any of the bodily shifting on his end, but there definitely is an aspect of he does not want to ever look at this thing directly. He's terrified of what he'll see.
And I'm just going to go ahead and say Aura does not have to roll, because Aura would be able to... That's not an illusion. The demon literally shapeshifted into you. And specifically into what would happen if you had died to the snake-style venom from Mion.
Ugh.
That is not a trick. That is not an illusion. This demon is physically your corpse.
It's more of a... It could be classified as a... It could be classified as a jest or some kind. I don't want to use the word taunt because it's not quite that. It's deliberately something you did to freak me out, and it worked.
You put a little bit of emphasis on the idea of deliberate, for perhaps an illustration. Lythander, would you meet my eyes, if you please?
Yes. You see goat eyes.
Does Lythander actually look in the eyes?
Yes. Lythander is incapable of taking anything that doesn't sound like a bad idea.
Alright. So, when Lythander meets their eyes, there is another moment of just gut check, just don't look. for a split second as the mien of Aura leaves the malleability of the demon and it recoalesces into what looks like Lythander. It's actually quite difficult to tell because it is... The best description you could have is a boneless chicken that got told to stand back up. It is a pulped bag of meat with no internal structure. That is...
What did you do to Pedro?
No,
Chicken familiar.
No, it is Lythander's actual default stance rather than the chicken. But it is Lythander as though completely crushed by an incalculable weight.
Damn, you're
That just sounds like...
you're really quick at that.
It's not something I entirely control. It is something I can put conscious effort into. But from your surprise, it seems that you are not fully informed as to what I truly am.
Huh?
You see, I embody
No.
an essence of Kagami, my patron, city of mirrors. The endless reflections of the worlds that were, the worlds that was, the worlds that might have been, the worlds that might be. I am the deaths that may have been.
And
Do you remember the statue of Pelican?
I'm,
This
vaguely.
is what would have happened if you had slipped.
right. Right. An embodiment?
This is what would have happened if Lythander hadn't blasted a hole into the statue's palm to hide inside.
Right.
Yeah, this is, you would have been squished into a pulped bag of meat.
Yes.
And it is showing you that.
Oh.
This
Slash if you hadn't bought Oxbody.
Mhm.
Yes!
Yes. An embodiment of possibility.
I embody inevitability. What I embody is how close one may have gotten to it without reaching it. I am the necessity of mortality. I am the many faces that it may wear. I am a reminder to those who prefer not to think of such things that death comes for everything. Mortal, exalt, demon, Yozi.
Laptops,
Don't
computers,
think about that.
Hard drives.
motherboards.
But no, it's like, as it is giving this monologue, it is not, like, approaching quickly or into an obvious, like, threatening you distance, but it is walking towards you to just kind of walk around and observe your reactions.
Playing with you, much like a cat would some kind of can.
Yeah.
As this
Meow.
as this entity becomes more and more comprehensible, Aura begins to realize, oh, this is a person I can talk to. Good.
Yes.
Turn on the show.
This
All right.
Yeah.
Frisch the bow tie. All right. Good. Extend a firm handshake. It's good to see you.
Dokuzan reaches out, grasps a hand, and shakes it. And
I'm going to commit to greatness inspiring aura,
Hmm?
just in case.
Okay. Nue, in the background, slides up to Aura and commits her own mote for Dauntless Yedem Caravan. And as a brief note, let me type a description of her potential death, too. This is, Aura's, lunar partner, who has a lot of deep issues, primarily resulting from accidentally doing Ysir. She did the Sorceress Engines in that city, and oh god, did those go the worst way they possibly could.
Yes. So yeah.
so the demon kind of rolls its neck with a crack, turning back to Aura, turning back into Aura again. This time, just flat out had drowned. Just a bloated, drowned body. It is a pleasure to meet you as well.
Kind of weird to see you talking with the bloated corpse mouth, but it's still pretty good. That's still pretty good to converse. So, at the risk of sounding insensitive or stupid, we got your call. Came here, snazzy place. Never knew, didn't know they made inside lakes.
They usually don't.
Something I'll have to think about. And was wondering wondering if you had anything for us in terms of any relevancy to our current plight.
Well, it appears that you have several, the longer I look at you, and the more that I see that you have avoided. You've had quite interesting lives in the past years.
Comes with the territory, I guess.
What plight in particular were you seeking information for?
Well, let's see here. Well, there's the current there's this current issue we've been having with what's his name? Eolda, right? Lythander's been broken in and out of the Library of Creation over there. Our friend Gavel.
Yes, I am aware. And as it turns to Lythander, Lythander's body in its mean just bursts into green flames, like the hands and feet impaled by sorcerous magic, and it is very obvious that it is what would have happened if Lythander had been nailed to the sky.
Lythander just says, "Is that what would have happened if?"
Oh yes, and you would not
got
actually
thrown up
have
there?
died. You would not have died for multiple centuries, to be clear.
Oh, so I had a chance to get out of it anyway. So he's not that strong, is he?
That's the spirit!
There's actually a wide smile that comes across Dokuzan's face through Lythander's burning face. Oh, you're an interesting one.
Oh no, I'm an idiot. There's a difference.
No, you don't understand. There's idiocy, and then there's looking your own death square in the face, and not just rejecting it, but understanding it, and then rejecting it. That's not common.
Well,
I mean, what is commonality? Let's be honest here. Lythander just takes and just drowns himself in his flask of infinite whatever.
well, uncommon is certainly the best word I've ever seen used to describe Lythander. Well, I take it as a compliment.
In the nicest way, too, apparently.
I take it as a compliment, big guy. You've earned it. Yeah.
The demon just kind of listens to this back and forth with obvious amusement.
So, Dokuzan, is it?
Yes.
So, I heard that you might have some information that I would be likely to procure.
I know quite a few things. It's a matter of whether or not it would be useful for you, or if you want to hear it.
I would like to know how to destroy soulsteel without destroying the souls inside.
The demon kind of leans back on its feet, thinking for a moment. Seems to have struck a chord for it as it's thinking. A question in return. How do you destroy a reflection?
Are we talking in water, a mirror,
A
the
reflection.
night sky, in the moon?
It just does. It smiles and does not answer.
Well, how to destroy a reflection is to just walk outside of the range. What is there to reflect if nothing's there to reflect?
An interesting answer. Though the reflection would still exist, were you to come back into the appearance of something that could reflect it.
Nue raised a hand in the background. Okay, wait, are we discussing the... I know that I've had some comrades in the Silver Pack who have shit they can do with their reflections. Does it count if you drag your reflection out as a god?
Another interesting approach to the idea.
I mean,
Traditionally speaking, though, to destroy the vessel of a reflection does not actually destroy the reflection. It merely distorts it. Shattering glass will make more smaller pieces. Disrupting the surface of the water will make it ruptured, but still present. Leaving will remove the reflection, but not destroy it. It will remain as long as you are there.
So removing the object is to destroy the reflection.
No. To remove the object is to transmute the reflection.
That is true, because if someone were to die, the reflection would still remain. But if I were to burn it to ashes, then the ashes would remain.
Then the ashes
that
would still remain.
But
That's
then that
the
gets
same
disintegrated
reflection.
by the sun eventually. So does that mean everybody's reflection is the sun?
Goodness,
not
the
give me
gods were
these riddles, I will-
scrupulous when handing out your brains, weren't they?
Very.
Well,
So I'm gonna go ahead and roll one of the tertiary pools that Dokuzan has, which is Speak Clearly. As this is something it has to do conscious effort to do. Oops, that is not how you do the syntax.
I must expend actual effort in order to stop myself from speaking in riddle and euphemisms.
Or just fucking with you.
Yes.
Soul Seal cannot be destroyed. It is physically impossible to destroy the Soul Steel without destroying the ghosts within it. What you want is impossible.
That's a lie.
Well, if destroy...
That is obviously a lie, because then why would Neon steal that?
Well, Lythander...
Because you are asking the wrong question.
Lythander... If you want...
Fine, how do I remove the souls from the Soul Steel?
You don't.
How can I break the steel from the soul?
Lythander...
What is it that you truly want when you say that you want to destroy the Soul Steel, but not the souls?
Yeah.
I want the souls to have the freedom that they should deserve.
And why do you want that?
Do you see the mark on my head?
And I've seen plenty of men with marks on their heads who have done beautiful, benevolent, wonderful things for their fellow men, and then turned around and put their fellow men into that same metal.
Nue's gonna make a second...
What do you want?
What I want is redemption. You see this particularly disgusting thing on my finger. I show off the gall.
Mm-hmm.
Quick bit of explanation for it is a reskin of that Soul Steel mace that creates a pocket dimension with the added bonus of this does weird things with time.
Time dilation. Basically,
it's the hyperbolic time chamber.
Actually, yes, it is. Time goes like 50 times slower in there.
There is the added wrinkle I've hinted at before of these are parts of what later became the Neverborn forged into the steel itself.
When you show the gall to Dokuzan, its eyes lock on it, and it has a difficult time actually ripping its gaze away. Give me what you would roll for an awareness check, I would say.
Okay, so I'd probably roll fortitude and I guess awareness, so...
That roll was also Nue trying to pick up on a few key phrases that Dokuzan has dropped, and I would say that she may have picked up on something...
Yeah, she's probably got some...
8 successes?
So,
how?
Okay.
Oh!
So,
wow.
Lythander, as you hold up the gall and you look into your own corpse's eyes...
May I just say something really quickly, though? I never roll this well!
This is a very good time for you to roll this well, because it's very appropriate. As you look into your own corpse's eyes, the demon almost seems to forget for a moment to maintain the form, as it's no longer looking at you and you're no longer looking at it. It's looking at something else, and it begins to reflect something else and have the malleable body it has quiver. And for the briefest moment, maybe a half a second at most, instead of your own body, you see the shadow of a 9-foot-tall figure, clad in nothing but soulsteel armor, with glimmering light behind the visor of its helm, wrapped in chains, full of spikes that punch through the metal into the body of the figure, as screams from inside of it echo out from every gap inside of the metal. And then the demon is simply back, like it never happened.
Another possibility.
Oh, that's...
Eight successes means Lythander may have a solid idea of what that is. I will let Darren perhaps drop some hints on his own.
So, Lythander is aware of the Death Lords at this point, obviously. Lythander has also probably heard of a couple of them in particular, including the Warlord of the South, who defied the Neverborn in focusing on temporal ambitions, and sought to create an empire of the dead rather than conquer the world of the living and feed it to oblivion. And in punishment, the Neverborn sealed that Death Lord within his armor, permanently. That is the First and Forsaken Lion. What you just saw looked a hell of a lot like the descriptions of the First and Forsaken Lion, but more of a echo, of a piece, of a reflection of him.
Like a police sketch version of it.
Dokuzan looks back up to Lythander, seeing the visible reaction. Well, that makes this interesting, doesn't it? I know a fair amount about soulsteel, as may be gathered by what you just witnessed. There was a time when I was summoned and bound that I encountered a certain projection. The lower soul, as it were, of a certain champion of the departed Yozi. As is my nature is to be the reflection of death, this had unexpected results. It gestures to its chest, kind of bowing, as it crumples down further, as it's still in the crushed state of Lythander. I didn't so much reflect the lower soul of the First and Forsaken Lion as I became a vessel. This has proven to be something of a intractable problem. It doesn't rather like to leave, you see.
Like trying to put too much liquid into a cup, Nue says, crossing her arms.
Precisely. It has given me insight into how our cousins are doing. I can hear them occasionally when it's quieter. Not quiet enough to invite the still wind, of course, but quieter enough to hear whispering. They have interesting things to say between the screaming. Most of it is, invectives, of course. Swearing of revenge, begging for death, for release, for anything, really. But there are echoes of older pieces of knowledge, of things that they perhaps have learned after learning that death did not quite apply to the primordials, either in their form as the primordials or in the form as Yozi. You see that, theoretically speaking, it is entirely possible to still kill the Yozi, despite the best efforts of the Solars to make this an eternal and immortal prison. The process, of course, is a little beyond me, and even if I did happen to know it, I would not be speaking it to you, as it would put quite the marker on my head. But having such a incidental connection to Oblivion, to the Neverborn, as they call themselves now, did give me insights to soulsteel, into its manufacture, into its natural creation, into its forging. And that is why I had the references in Orabilis' library. You see, soulsteel, the metal itself, is a naturally occurring phenomenon in the underworld, and in certain rare cases in creation itself. On its own, it is merely an inert chunk of metal that has potential. And that is it. It's an empty vessel. When it becomes soulsteel is when it is alloyed with the spirits of the dead, willing or otherwise. Now I ask again, how do you destroy reflection?
How?
You change it. If you cannot destroy it, then you change it. Shattering soulsteel will do no good. Smashing it will do little. Melting it down will merely make it a liquid. But if you reach out to the inside, to the souls that alloy it, that give it power, that hold it together as a magical material, and you connect with them, as I said, you were asking the wrong question. In your mind, the only way to give peace to the souls within a chunk of soulsteel would be to destroy the vessel so they could flee. But what if you reached within the vessel and you gave them peace where they lay? The bindings of the metal rely on the ghosts and their bindings to convince the ghosts to find peace, is to convince the metal to unmake itself.
A new kind of sarcophagus.
Just so. Everything must face mortality, even the dead. If they have no peace, then you may bring it to them. If they have peace, then it can be disrupted. But everything in Malfeas, in creation, Yushan, the underworld, and far beyond, in the places beyond the poles, anything that has a conception of mortality, anything that can cease, will linger if it does not face that fact. Just kind of stands back and looks at the group for their reaction.
Speaking of disturbed peace, now that you mention it, and Aura will pull out something from her bag and flit it up, what looks like a poster, something depicting scenes of... It's a poster clearly meant to incite some sort of response. It looks a bit like a propaganda, poster that you might find to incite some sort of rally. Upon looking at it, you may notice that you are able to understand, you are able to comprehend its message, and it is imbued into you incredibly quickly and easily.
Let's go ahead and roll Adrian's social influence dice pool against Okuzan.
Alright.
Oh my!
Oh no! I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to make you want to eat food now. Sorry.
Oh no, that's wait. I don't think that was. That's not.
So
that wasn't
out of character. What's this poster? Who is this poster from? What is this poster?
Adrian, the demon-blooded solar. Effectively, this is using the solar magic of influence portrayed through art, attempting to essentially incite a class revolt amongst first circle, demons, and the other downtrodden of Malfeas, humans,
Yeah.
for
Okay.
their ill treatment and terrible living conditions amongst the other Yozi.
Goku-san actually just begins to chuckle pretty hard and very gently reaches out with a hand and pushes the poster down. Oh, I already know about that.
Right. Yeah. That is something we came to talk to you about. I've lived for I haven't lived for exactly that long, but I haven't really known demons to be very, what's the word? Mutable, I guess.
You've been looking at the wrong ones.
True. That's something I could say. Lately they've been having disputes in creation, as they have been overcome with urges that they have not had before.
To eat, to drink,
Indeed.
to starve, to desiccate, to be aware of their own death. Yes, I'm aware.
It's something that has been troubling me, because it's something whose concept sits ill with me. The idea of demons beginning to suffer in new ways and seeking to further themselves, to consume in order to satiate themselves, is something that is hard for me to describe on why I should or need to fix. I'm not sure I'm not sure how much better their lives were before these urges became a thing. But I am sure of the fact that if they continue to create chaos in search of satiating these urges, as this awakening is sure to be a violent one, we will start running out of space very quickly. It's troubling, to say the least.
And Nue just kind of slides in that she means all the wars that that Yozi cultists are starting in creation.
Exactly.
Yes, well, far be it from me to think that there is much sympathy in Malfeas for the plight of creation after what they did to us. But I do understand your particular concerns, and certainly the citizens of the lower castes are, of their own way, disgruntled, frightened, alarmed, perhaps seeking their own ways of altering certain immutable truths. Something I don't believe that your... well, I don't know what you would call them. This solar. I don't think they fully understand.
No.
Is that there is no such thing as a class revolt in the... It's actually taking a moment to think of a proper way of putting it.
Can your finger rebel against the rest of its body?
Precisely.
Oh God,
what he thinks is that he is inciting the lower classes to revolt, to find a higher place, to make things more equal. What he's actually doing is inspiring the lesser animal spirits of the body to begin to consume their host. All that will lead to is the destruction and the decay and the inevitable death of the greater body.
Yes.
Whether he knows or cares is rather beyond me at this point. I just simply find it interesting to watch.
Right. Yes. I do believe Adrian is not very aware of the damage he causes. Soon enough it will cause further contamination. I'm a practical sort of girl. I'm used to solving practical problems. If people need land...
So Dokuzan, as you say that, turns the head back to make eye contact, and after a split second of the flash of the lower ghost of the First and Forsaken Lion, Arya is now looking at herself holding her head under one arm. You don't say, I couldn't have picked that up.
If the people need strength, I'm there to lend a hand. If they need land and place to stay, that's the reason I grew my resources. Since I've been hoping to reach the people under the margins, the people who could not be seen. Today I was reminded of how fallible I could be, and it's difficult to. It's the kind of thing that's difficult to accept. So,
that makes you stronger. You see, if you had looked it in the eye and you denied it, like you had never seen it, then that would fester within you. If you never saw it, then perhaps it would come up later, at a time you were less prepared, and it would take you completely, and you would go with the land of the dead. You should be thankful that you've had the opportunity to look your own weakness so directly and learn from it.
Indeed. I was a fool to think otherwise at the start. I knew for a fact the road to redemption would be painful. I will fail many times, and I am sure I will fail many times in the future, but I hope to be able to continue to do good and make good happen. Which is why this is such a strange situation to me. The awakening of this chaos makes me wonder how much more satisfied the denizens of Malfeas were before. The concept of having no desire for food, no will for these things that I consider so whole to myself. It struck me as something and then suddenly gaining them. It's something that still gave me pause for thought. It's a strange thing to say as a solar, but I want to help these demons. Somehow. I want to make sure that they don't destroy themselves and part of my world.
So does Ouroborous.
And yet he is Adrian's collaborator.
They
are Adrian's collaborator.
Interesting, isn't it, what good intentions do?
I must set this right. All right.
Here. One moment. Rex, would you say Nue has kept up the attempts to not get looked at and or has dropped guard?
It would inevitably happen at some point.
Yeah, okay, so
They're a full moon lunar. They are dangerous in many ways, but they are not the social intrigue masters that the rest of the player characters are.
As this conversation is going, Dokuzan, and you realize this right before it happens, has been watching Nue this whole time, the moment that Dokuzan noticed that Nue was actively avoiding confronting it. And just kind of dips past your shoulder to make locked eye contact. And in a brief moment, the demon is simply gone. And what is there is a hanging red mist over a couple of square meters. Messy.
If Luna hadn't found me then yeah, I guess that's what would have happened to me.
How often do you think about that?
too often.
Not often enough, I think. You're still thinking about it.
Every time I think about my exaltation, I think about how I was the only survivor of that fucking ship attack, and it was only through the grace of the moon itself that I still draw breath.
Why do you
Not on my own merits.
Why do you think she picked you?
Because I tried to get everyone else out of the way, but I didn't get enough. And here we are.
Do you think that she picked you because you didn't get enough? Because you tried? Because you failed? Because you might have succeeded? Who defines enough?
You know, you're a really shit therapist.
I guess that's...
Who says
I know that I've heard rumors, and this is Stargazer speaking up, that only the unquestionables are entitled to mental health counseling. But I thought those were just jokes. And yet here you are it turns out the second circle demons are kind of bad at understanding people.
Who says that I care? I don't care if you come to peace. I don't care if this helps you. All I want is for you to look it square in the face honestly. If it breaks you, that's your own problem. You're too weak. If you resolve yourself and you go forward as a stronger person, fine. All I want is you to look.
This whole time you've been talking to the town of Silent Hill.
That's just it, isn't it? You know, I've been thinking about it ever since she first told it to me. The concept of remaking the world into a better world. It makes no sense. How could you even go about it? The DNA of reality is, the prime source of reality's existence is in strength and weakness. This is the rule by which all things were created over time and continued to exist as far as history has existed, as far as everything has existed. To attempt to overturn it makes no sense. It's a pipe dream.
Do you think that's going to stop her?
No, I don't.
What do you think will?
Two things. Heartbreak, and she avoids saying the last one.
Death, either at your hands or another's, or perhaps at the hands of the final glimmer of falling stars.
If I could just... These decisions I must make have never stopped being difficult since the very first moment.
I think Nue does manage to pull herself enough together after staring at the bloody mess that is Dokuzan wearing what used to be her body right now. Just kind of slaps herself to attention. All right. The other reason that I personally want to talk to you is because the Yenim in the room, that is fucking Eolda.
Right. We're scheduled to face him in combat soon.
Oh, yes, you are.
Mister, I can make your head explode by telling you to make your head explode.
It's true. It's quite the verbose power he's got.
Third circle, direct progeny of she who lives within her name. Interesting that you were musing about strength and weakness and choice and will in demons being foisted upon them in such derogatory tones when one of your upcoming nemesis is a demon that doesn't believe that free will should exist.
It's true. We had a conversation about that when they first arrived upstairs, summoned forth by a very, very short-sighted, what was her cast?
Endings cast.
Very short-sighted endings cast.
Yeah, for reference, she used a broken wing crane to try and drag him into creation to kill him.
Yeah.
Permanently.
It's a wonder I've managed to convince him of anything, frankly.
Are you sure you have? And are you sure that there isn't anything else going on?
Now that you mention it, it does seem odd for such a set-in-stone, hard-headed figure such as himself to allow himself to adopt some kind of perspective.
Perhaps you found a facet that you could aggrandize. Perhaps, I don't know. Perhaps the great game of Malfeas. How to put this? Even third circle demons are not immune to the machinations of their peers and their lower entities.
Everybody's got something.
Especially when there is a Death Lord running around, and it has been attempting to enact certain... Well, I shall elide the attempted force neutrality. Incredibly foolish and short-sighted and doomed to fail goals, as they were, that certain demons would have interests in and certain demons would not.
And you see Aura finally sigh and say, "We really don't get breaks, do we?"
No, you don't. No one does, until you die. That's the point.
Well, that settles it. All right. Let's organize a list. It's a priority list. I think from our last encounter, Ouroborous did not seem particularly keen on speaking frankly with us. I suspect they had...
No, they're quite terrible at that.
Yes, they. I suspect they have retreated into their shadow after their defeat. No doubt under influence of Adrian's blind idealism. Though, if I can find a way to, if I can reinitiate a conversation with Adrian, I can get to Ouroborous somehow. Attempt to put them on the right path, make things right between us in some way.
Quick DM to Darren, based on what Dokuzawa know about that.
Okay, one moment.
All right. Probably would be your perspective based on what you know about your interactions with the Umbral.
Well, I can say that I've had a couple of conversations with this Ouroborous. After all, their goals in my domain have a not insignificant overlap. The laws of the domain near demanded that we would cross paths after a point. They did offer me an alliance, is how they put it. A patronage would be from my perspective, and I didn't fully deny it, but I have not exactly put my entire weight behind them. First of all, because that would be rather suicidal of me once the full extent of their mistakes become apparent. And second,
at this point, Nue raises an eyebrow to deliberately interrupt. Oh, so you're all about making other people face deaths, but you don't want to do it yourself, I see.
Oh, no. The problem with that is that I already know when I'm going to die, and it's not then. There's just it's back in Aura's body, now looking kind of singed and burnt, as though exposed to extremely high heat. And the smile is just entirely too peaceful with the idea of, oh yeah, no, I know exactly when I'm dying.
Well, you've probably had enough time to think about it. Muse on it.
At least I'm going to take Loki with me.
Now,
Thumbs up.
Ouroborous. The primary reason I didn't have a stronger rapport with them is that, frankly, they're not an entirely irrational actor. That shadow you saw them use is not a mere passive pet or a projection of their power. It is its own mind, its own motive, its own set of control.
Yes.
And you may be able to drive a wedge between them and Adrian, or you may not. It depends on what the shadow has to say about the matter.
So both halves of the self must be made one whole again.
Stargazer tilts his head. From what descriptions I was able to garner in prophetic dreams, exaltation is its own soul.
Right.
The shadow is the exaltation itself, given form.
Precisely. And so if the shadow decides that it wants to do something and Ouroborous disagrees, on the whole, the shadow is going to win. Barring exceptional circumstances, of course, which, let it not be said, the Exalted are not quite adept at setting those up.
And I do think that Stargazer actually deliberately looks at this entity after a moment to steel himself up, and I'll just say that his death would just be a very mundane one.
Yeah, no, it's
unbefitting of a mighty sorcerer.
I know exactly what it is. The Dokuzan shifts once again, and Stargazer is looking at himself. All he can tell is his skin is somewhat gray, and he's got the pallor of death and a bit of rigor mortis, but there is actually no external sign of what he may have died of. There's no obvious sign of sickness, there's no, sores or wounds or jaundicing or anything. It's like he's stopped moving, just dead.
First, thank you for the reminder I need to get started on researching immortality. Second, I know, just a delay. Still, I actually lost my train of thought because I got an update from Alatos that he was able to get shit working, but...
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Any case, oh, right. What he was going to say in this front is... You've gone on record saying that your domain is of potential past deaths. While we have your attention, can you tell us about the future?
That's a bold request. Few think to do so. Most are worried
I am an
enough
astrologer.
About the deaths. Most are worried enough about the deaths that they have narrowly avoided. They'd rather not think about the specter of death in front of them until they come to terms with the concept itself. Candidly speaking, I do have some measure of control over the potential deaths of the future that are likely, but they are very tenuous. They will shift as though the wind across the water will change the way the wave moves. But, yes, I can attempt to show likely deaths. Would you like me to?
So we can have the best idea. Yes, in character as this.
This demon is actively offering, do you want to know how you die?
And I do think this pause is, Stargazer's not going to be able to come up with an answer. At least for himself.
Yeah, just Dokuzan is just wearing his face and just smiling a way too uncomfortably friendly smile of yeah, I can do that. You sure?
The black and white spots all over his body slowly begin to go entirely white.
I mean, sure.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch who said that.
That was just me. out of
Lythander.
character. I
Okay.
don't know, I'm just...
Can I
Oh.
can I roll a read intentions on
Sure.
Dokuzan? Let's
Yeah.
see. What do I roll for this? Would it be awareness?
I would say embassy or awareness, yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll give it a go. See if my new roll's any better. Do I have any?
I think you have the embassy excellency. At least.
No, yeah. I was seeing if
no.
I had anything else.
Is this a social roll, or...
Presentation.
This would be
scene.
social.
All social influence, excluding read intentions. Okay, so no harmonious presence meditation. All right, I'll just give it a go on the nice little 13 d10s. That's worse. That's somehow worse than the roll I did before.
Yeah, you're not getting anything out of this demon. It's pretty... you're just getting that smile.
I attempt
is
to
what
read
Aura's getting.
intentions.
Damn it.
Yes, if you would want to read intentions, you absolutely can. Like, they're not actively being deceptive. They're just really hard to read.
Yeah, they are effectively just asking the question of, again, do you want to know how you want to die? That's a lot to digest.
I will do it, I guess. I would assume fortitude awareness.
Yeah.
Awareness or embassy, yeah.
6.
Whichever one you prefer. Ooh.
Lythander.
Yeah, that'll go through. So, Lythander gets a moment of insight on this demon. And that's something that just kind of flashes through really quickly. This demon is a demon of reflections, and reflections of things that could have been. Everything this demon has told you so far is factual. This demon may be able to lie, but it's probably fucking terrible at it. So if there is an ulterior motive here, if you just ask, it will probably tell you, or try badly to lie. But otherwise, this seems to be a very sincere offering of like, hey, if you want me to show you, I'll show you.
If you want the lying mirror reflection, Funhouse Jeff is a few forests over.
Oh no, Jeffrey!
Or how I want to die.
Big red button has been pressed.
Alright. Dokuzan takes a step just inside of what Lythander considers
So you were up to my
uncomfortably
lips,
close.
about to kiss me.
Pretty much, actually.
Now, we need our second date first.
And
Is this second circle demon number 2 you're romancing?
Except I'm not going to do that.
Just one question. I'm going to shoot Rex a question real quick.
Alright. Oh, Alatos confirmation that he's green to go and will be in shortly. But
Alright.
before...
That's going to be interesting to come on the heels of this.
Excellent comedic timing.
Lythander looks at Dokuzan in the eye, and the eyes shift to his own. And then they grow bloodshot and afraid, and almost sad. As though it had been something either he didn't see coming, or he knew it was coming, and he was desperately trying to avoid it. As the demon steps back and bows lightly, Lythander can see, neatly inserted between every single gap of his ribs, are a set of glowing anima knives, straight through his lungs, several directly through the arteries to the heart. Every vital organ is pierced. It is vicious, it is exacting, it is murderous. There is no wasted effort. It is a targeted assassination.
Question. Do I recognize the knives, Rex?
Yep, those are the things that Amir tends to use.
It is
I
very
was going
specifically...
to say, is it Amir's
It
knives?
is very specifically Amir's knives.
Well, I knew he wanted to stick it into me, but not this badly.
New A face.
Boo!
Goodness gracious, you
Boo.
are unflappable.
Oh no, I am quite shook.
Okay, I'm gonna actually say that Stokerzon actually cracking up a little bit while full of knives.
Yeah. That's our Lythander.
I don't think I have the guts to tell him anymore how I
one other
feel.
note,
I will actually point.
Why?
I will also point out one other detail. Lythander, your corpse's hands are covered in blood, and it looks like Amir's.
I mean, hey, who knows?
Huh.
This might be a glorious red hand rebirth. Oh no, where's my daughter in this?
What?
Holy crikey, it's an
Welcome aboard.
Alatos!
You just been...
You came in at the funniest
Yeah,
possible
you came
time.
in at a hell of a moment, my friend.
All right, this is our guest star for the episode, Darren. He ran Crimes of Nature, the AP that inspired this one.
Nice to meet you as well. I am currently playing a second circle demon named Dokuzan, the corpse at the water's edge. It is a second circle demon that is the incarnation of the deaths that you could have experienced.
Oh, that's...
And Lythander is kinda shook.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah, and Lythander asked, well, more accurately, Skywatcher asked, hey, can you do deaths that haven't happened yet but are likely to? And the demon's like, are you sure you want me to? And Lythander was like, yeah, sure. And Lythander just got shown his own dead body full of Amir's knives.
Oh, yeah, that checks out.
With my hands red.
With his hands
So it
red as though he
reminds
was
me of my
fighting
daughter,
back
who
or was
is-
the first to throw the punch.
Yeah, that
It is
checks out.
unclear which. There was a mutual violence in this death.
Is that what you...
So do you want to hear something that's going to probably make you a little concerning here? My joke was, I have another joke
Oh,
here.
boy.
Yeah.
This reminds me of my daughter fucking 100 venom stingers sideways.
Yeah,
Ugh.
100 Venom Stinger and Lythander's
Anyway,
liminal 1,000-year-old daughter are an item.
Oh, lovely, yes. What's
that really,
it?
that really
I-
got to you, huh, Lythander?
It's more so remembering that part of it, not this.
All right, I also
Ugh.
do have my recording going now, by the way.
Gavel, you enter to see Lythander and another Lythander murdered and filled with knives and everyone laughing and having a good time. Wait, that doesn't fit what you've heard about this demon. What the fuck?
What the fuck is going on now?
Oh, hey,
Oh,
boss.
is this one of your associates?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually.
That's our boss.
She can be seen as our leader, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
As the demon turns its head and makes eye contact with Gavel, there is a brief moment where it just the shape just undulates, and Gavel's eyes desperately don't want to look at the moment between its shapeshifting. There's something there, and Gavel's brain's intuitive response is, eyes, stop working. And the moment your eyes are able to refocus again and figure out what you're looking at, Gavel is looking at herself. And let me look at my list.
I set
I
Darren a
literally
list
got
of
a
close
list
calls.
of all of the
Excellent.
times you have all almost died.
Very
And that's
nice.
And Darren hasn't even touched the potential group deaths yet.
Oh,
yeah, no,
lovely.
I haven't. I've been using the personal ones yet, aside from the ones that would have killed all of you.
Oh, goodness.
So wait, does Dokuzan know about Lythander shoving a war strider into
Yes.
into the gall? Okay. That's a funny group death that probably could have happened.
Yes, that is on the list.
Okay.
The malfunction and total death of the entire squad because of a funny Wii-Who robot malfunction.
Yeah, actually, Gavel. So I'm just gonna sum this up. You know what happened with the Nephrak and the War Strider?
Yes.
What if you hadn't actually handled that?
Oh.
You're looking at the corpse, at the pieces of the corpse that would have been there. They're still hanging together, kind of strung together with essence, but you can very visibly tell, like, oh, yeah, I know what would have did that.
Oh god, this is what happened to the guy in the opening of Hellraiser.
Yes, exactly. Just chains and, like, torn to pieces, but still desperately clinging together.
What's it? The back of Gavel's neck shivers. She instinctively slaps her right arm, but then sort of focuses back in the best she can. And tries her best to look at you, and is like, "Oh, I see."
Now there's the usual reaction. Your friends are, well, Yushan wasn't handing out the brains quite so much as they were as usual when they were making these two, did they?
How dare you say that?
You were the one who called yourself not uncommon, merely stupid.
I know. Yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Nue raised up a hand. Quick recap, you can't destroy soulsteel safely, but you can, give the ghosts therapy, and that would turn the metal into something less miserable to be in. That's the gist of it.
If one must sum it up that way, it is not inaccurate to say so, yes.
You also got a basic sense of what to do from this point forward. You should probably find a way to get into in order, if we mean to stop the corruption of the demons of Malfeas, we should find a way to get in contact with Ouroborous as our best bet to set this right.
Oh yes, I do. I do suppose that's what we were doing here in the first place, wasn't it?
Also, out of
But
character,
also,
the demon basically confirmed Ouroborous approached it to get an alliance or a patronage, and the demon just kind of soft turned it down because it's like, nah.
No.
I'll watch. I'm not gonna snitch, but like, no.
I do not trust your teenage angst. I need to get out of here.
More or less exactly was the reasoning. Dressed up and talking about the shadow because of the umbral stuff, but like, the demon flat out was basically like, I don't trust you to be like a rational actor that's gonna follow through on this. You're just gonna be more entertaining to watch fail horribly.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more justified than teenage angst, but that's not otherwise an unfair read.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, the button of, hey, you want to see how you can die in the future?
I think you'd enjoy this, Gavel. You should test it. You should do it. Isn't that right, Dokazan?
I leave the choice up to the viewer.
I'm usually fine with more disturbing images. I am, of course, the leader of the Ashen Ones and all, but I think... You know what? Fine. Show me two. Two possible deaths.
I'll also note, Dokuzan would know on site, this is one of the Infernal Exalted.
Oh, Green Sun Prince, the pride of your people is quite apparent. Takes a step back, watches carefully, just thinks for a long set of moments, and becomes Gavel's corpse prone on the ground with the symbol of your original people's tutelary deity burned over your cast mark.
Ooh!
As if with a branding iron.
Once again, back of Gavel's neck shivers, slaps the left arm this time.
Yeah, we've only referenced that tutelary deity once in 60 episodes. It basically vanished the second you exalted.
Hilarious.
Yeah, it's, and from my notes, it remembers you. This is a confirmation that thing didn't get, no, this thing still has a grudge.
That's not good. That's gonna bite me later.
Yes, that's why you have the option to ask this demon, hey, what's the less likely thing to kill me in the future as it currently stands? So you can get a warning of like, maybe I should do something about that.
You know, maybe I should have accepted that offer about rewriting the fabric of reality, but anyways. That's one. I said two.
It gets back up and rolls its neck. It thinks to itself again for a moment, trying to sort through its fog of memories and of futures. And then it's very difficult to describe, because trying to describe the effects of Wuxia magic in the wild, while in Malfeas, is rather like trying to have oil and water act the same way in the same emotion. But the best kind of look Gavel can get, isn't it? It's Gavel in their current outfit, warped partway through wild-shaping magics and Raksha attacks into a nearly unrecognizable tree, but the spindles and the branches of the tree are your nerves and your tendons erupting from your body, which has become the root bundle.
Gonna go pull up the reference image that I shared with Darren while discussing this.
All right. I'm very excited to see what this reference image is. Yeah!
Yo.
Oh yeah, that! Yeah!
For those of you at home, it's from Kill 6 Billion Demons. If you've read the comic, you probably know what it is.
If you know, you know.
For the thrice time, the back of Gavel's neck shivers. This time she slaps both of her arms instinctively.
Out of character. I was so worried that you were going to describe one of the deaths as a burning hole through the chest, i.e.,
accidental misfire,
i.e., Aura shoots Gavel somehow in the future.
Oh, well, I said I have a list.
It's very funny you mentioned some of those wounds specifically, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's someone who hasn't asked.
Oh boy.
It's true.
But what's it? Gavel still looks at this horrific display in front of her own potential corpse and goes, I'll be sure to not touch anything that could potentially warp my body into something not quite humanoid. Or bipedal, I suppose.
The tree twitches and the mouth at the base of the root bundle speaks. Oh, don't worry, it touches you.
Great, I'll be sure to find some, I don't know, magical lava or something that burns anything that gets too close.
Might I suggest Kimberly's acid?
I'll be sure to keep that in mind.
I think I saw God Eater Ball drink that from the sidelines. Nue mutters.
Maybe I could.
Oh, there are...
Must be full of electrolytes.
Maybe I could inside out his stomach and get some for myself. But that's for the finale. That's for later.
The tree collapses back in on itself as it goes back to the more communicable version of Gavel's death with the tutelary deity's sign over the cast mark.
Gavel, go ahead and roll me your choice of either a navigate or a sagacity roll to pick up one key bit of information.
Ooh, lovely, yes. Let me launch the game, because I clicked on the thing but didn't actually click launch game. Let's see. So, any attribute plus, navigation?
Fortitude, let's say.
Okay, yeah. Fortitude plus, I'll do Fortitude plus sagacity. Once it loads in. Oh my goodness.
Oh, right.
The image of this bloodborne. Oh, that's the Orphan of Kos.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was the mood board for when they came across the original site. The corpse before it started shapeshifting was just on the lake bed.
I see.
When I saw the Orphan of Kos, I was like, oh shit, it's the Orphan of Kos. He's gonna do like stock scream sounds at me.
He's gonna melt blank at me.
All right.
He's gonna attack you with the pizza tower voice.
Oh no. All right. Fortitude plus sagacity, that is 4 successes.
You know what? Yeah, that might be enough to pick up on the thing I just noted to Darren.
Yeah, I would say that it is the case, because that was what I was trying to foreshadow myself.
Hey, the scraps of clothing are almost on the tree. We're almost identical to the exact outfit you're wearing now.
No, like, as I was very careful to say, it is wearing the outfit you are wearing now.
Yep.
Yes,
that death is soon.
Yeah, the armor from the tutelary deity thing was a future death where you're wearing a different suit of armor.
Oh.
Yeah, the fucked up meat tree is like, that could happen in at most a couple of days or when you're wearing that outfit again.
Right. Goodness sakes.
I don't know if 4 successes is enough to pinpoint the exact cause of
No.
death.
No, it would not tell you the when, but it would tell you it's soon.
It might also tell you a vague sense of something plant-related.
Lovely.
Yeah. And like I said, it's wild shaping adjacent.
Mm-hmm.
So the fair folk may be involved.
Yes.
As if I didn't hate the fucking Fae folk already.
Weird how Yolda didn't pop up in any of those.
Yeah.
And that's something Nue says out loud as she just kind of tilts her head.
And I say, oh wow, that must mean
So actually, hang on, hold on. I'm gonna make a roll for Dokusan.
Oh no.
I actually have an answer. I have an answer for Dokuzan considering this, if that's what I think he's thinking about.
No, it's a matter of I'm pretty sure we're both thinking of the same thing. This is a poker face roll.
Oh, okay.
Can I contest that with an awareness?
You might.
Yes. This is a bog standard trying to hide a reaction.
my
roll
God,
if any of
come
you have challenge
on!
You want to contest?
Oh my goodness.
I have rolled a 4, a 2, and then a 2 again.
I'm not used to
You're
seeing
rolling-
Aura roll so low.
You're rolling Korak numbers.
I am. It must be the 13 dice. That's what's doing it.
Oh man.
Aura is having a great time. She doesn't know anything that's going on.
I mean, Aura did also have like multiple causes of death juggled in front of her as like the first person to have that happen.
It's true. She's already seen 3, and she has to deal with that. She's trying to she's disassociating.
Like the time the Wild Hunt almost cut your head off.
Yeah.
The time that you got into a beam duel.
Yeah,
The time you were nearly poisoned to death.
indeed.
I do wonder if the hypothetical circumstance of Mion has met this person once already. I wonder if he just showed him how he actually died of being blown open by the flesh-sloughing wave.
That would have been funny.
Honestly speaking, that is probably actually, like, Dokuzan probably did just show him, yeah, this is probably how you're gonna die, and then the ghost goes, motherfucker!
Yeah. He almost
right,
got,
that's how it already happened. My mistake.
he almost got put into the device by Sky Sundering Shadow, but we fucked up and he got sent to Malfeas by mistake.
Yeah, that's true.
By the way, for Gavel, hard confirmation that the Ebon Dragon itself was involved in the choice to turn Mion into a demon.
Oh!
Yeah.
I will also note you have the Unwoven Coagitator if you want to ask any interesting questions about anything this entity has said and get unrolled confirmations or anything.
Give me a moment, I
Yeah.
certainly will. Turned me on. Let's see. There we go. Added that to Ebon Dragon. Alright. How do I ask this? I'm going to tap hold on. I'm working with one monitor here. Be patient. Unwoven Coagitator. I will tap Unwoven Coagitator and ask. So that suit that I just saw, that new suit. Roughly how long until I get that new suit?
The one in the
Rex,
The one in the
no, Rex, how long is it until the thing we both know where that's from?
It seems like that looks a lot like the jade armor dress that you were promised back in Shampur, which, from your estimates in the calendar, is probably about several months out.
Yeah, okay, cool, great.
Yeah, there was a lovely piece of jade armor that did not save you from, in addition to the stab wounds, in addition to the tutelary branding.
Well, I suppose it's too late for a refund now.
Afraid I can't ask for better armor plating where I was stabbed, because it hasn't happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it may not necessarily happen.
It's
after
only
all,
a
a quirk of divination is that when you observe the future, you change it.
Indeed.
One other thing I will note is, those were just stab wounds.
Yeah, just knives.
Which is somewhat not surprising for Gavel because she mostly does close combats.
Yeah, what I mean is, it's not the esoteric causes of death from past or future like this guy has been showing off. You were killed by piercing.
Yes.
Blood loss.
Seemingly mundane.
You just got shanked to death by one or more people.
Mm-hmm. Goodness sakes.
All right. Well, what else we after dealing with? So we can deal with Ouroborous first, then we deal with Eola, and then maybe we can figure out what to do with Triple S. We can go at this. We can go at it in this order.
I think Nue deliberately tries to whisper this in case she can try and get it past Okuzan, and I'm gonna have her roll her not great secondary dice pool, and feel free to oppose it with whatever, to see if she can convey this without
Gonna go ahead
hearing.
and roll the primary pool of know too much about you.
Okay, probably not gonna work then.
3 successes. Oh my goodness.
Nah.
All right,
Nah.
yeah, Dokuzan
Oh.
hears as clear as day then, as she leans over. It's your call if we want to talk about El Dorado.
Oh yeah.
What now?
Shit!
Do you know of it?
It's just an innocent smile from the second circle demon as it is just kind of cat facing at the at the exchange.
I don't know how in-depth I've gone about before. It's the big first-age hubris of this campaign, for reference, Darren.
Yes.
It's,
Yes.
They tried to make an immortality city, and fucked it.
Well, I've described it.
No, you went into some
Yeah.
detail.
I've
Yes.
described it to Rex before as essentially it's supposed to be an eternally growing city. Like, it's something that essentially takes matter from the outside world that expands infinitely. It traps its denizens into a place where they cannot where they need not worry about feeling hunger. They need not sleep. They don't get sick, and they don't age. They don't get hurt either. It's essentially a city created for eternal stasis, eternal prosperity, and that can accommodate an infinite number of people because it expands infinite. So it turns out a place that expands infinitely without caring about the surrounding environment that it is using as material to expand infinitely.
We call that a Grey Goo scenario.
Bad.
Gold goo in this case.
Bad.
Mm-hmm.
So they sealed it. So they used the seal to cause it to infinitely eat itself, and trapped it at the bottom of the ocean.
Everyone in there is still alive and is still very mad.
Yes.
Textbook first-age bullshit, in other words.
Yeah.
And
As it stares at Aura, it just starts smiling wider, but still doesn't say anything.
should I go into detail, or should I assume you get the picture?
No, I believe that some information that I had prior now has much more interesting context.
Well, I'm happy for you, or sorry that happened. Either way,
You're going to die there, you know.
I'd rather not dwell on it. I've got too much stuff to do. If I don't set my mind on what's important, I won't be able to work to my fullest.
That's your choice.
All right. One last thing I've been wondering about. What led you to call us here? What interest, so as to speak, what drew you to our merry band? It's hardly the most, we're hardly the most interesting people out in this neck of the woods, certainly.
Well, you have some
You're saying
interesting
that
depths
I'm
of your
not
own
interesting.
that were interesting to view. Though I will be candid, there is a bit of self-interest in my calling you.
Right.
After all, you are currently diploming, or perhaps conflicting, with Ouroborous, with Sky Sundering Shadow, with many entities of which I am familiar. You are contesting against Final Glimmer of Falling Stars, who I would quite love to see have everything that they care about collapse around their ears. But the proper reason, the last little nudge, as it were, is perhaps you might consider petty of me, but a small annoyance that I believe you personally would be excellent, in particular, at helping me with. You see, have you heard of a man named Tepet Etep?
Oh, that asshole.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, boy.
The demon is now just smiling so wide it is nearly splitting the lips on its body.
Ugh, I spent the last...
Tell me, what do you know of this
I
man?
cannot believe this stupid bit character I made up on the fly for an offset episode has this much mileage.
I have been waiting this entire fucking episode to drop that this is the primary motivator for a second circle demon. Yeah, it's helping you with all this other shit. What does it want? Well...
I really hate WarioWare, okay? That's it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, brother.
All right, hang on.
How?
Nue raises a hand like she's in a classroom again. You seem pretty unbothered by the general state of things. What is that idiot doing if he's able to actually find something that makes you upset?
Oh, that's quite easy, actually. He's moved in with my patron demon and is experimenting with peaches of immortality.
Right, that is something he'd been doing.
Indeed.
You see, he has convinced my patron, who has considerably less attachment to the inevitability or the necessity of death than I do, to endorse, to protect, to, I don't know, adopt, whatever word you would use for the odious little man, as he experiments with his wretched little peaches and pitches the idea of extending lifespan and using it as potentially a bulwark against Ouroborous and any other thing that he can sweet-talk other demons into listening to. And as Dokuzan is speaking, you begin to hear in its tone a more personal venom that has not come up in this entire conversation as it is talking about these peaches. The sheer irritation, the presumption, the arrogance of the idea that the peaches of immortality, useless here as we are of Yozi descent and therefore immune to the ravages of time, if not other things, but for the mortals trapped here, that are brought here, or exalts, or whatever other things that do feel the hand of mortality. He's seen what he would call a market for that, beyond his own petty fear of death and the illusion that if he just eats enough fruit, that it will no longer come for him. A delusion that I would love to have him disabused of, but that will come in time.
There is a flashback to the restaurant that Aura visited several episodes ago. Peaches were the most expensive thing on the menu.
I recall, yes. That's I had established a contact there, and I'd been working to put some to dissuade the staff from participating in such a farce. I know for a fact that knowing Tepet Etep's history as a disgraced general, a coward, and a rank opportunist, I for one would also enjoy. Seeing him knocked down a peg, as it were.
Yeah, for reference, he exalted running the fuck away from the Bull of the North and his forces.
Yes, as I said, he has been hanging around with one of my patron third circles.
Right.
There is a petulant little scheme that he has been testing, and intends more overt testing later, but if you catch it now, it should put a damper on his usefulness to my lords.
It's interesting.
You see, there is a restaurant chain that has cropped up and has grown wider as more and more demons suffer from the curse of hunger, as well as the mortal servants and slaves that we've brought in. And he has been placing his attempts to crossbreed the peaches into several of these restaurants. What the patrons do not know is that his experiments have been successful in a certain sense, if not helpful to those who imbibe it directly. You see, now it is easier to grow, but its soil is no longer soil, it is human flesh. It decreases the age of its consumer after it is extracted from the body of the original eater, for once it is eaten, it extracts the youth and vigor out of the host, and stores it in itself as stolen time. The actual trees themselves have become ambulatory, and threaten to become an invasive species on multiple different layers of Malfeas. Should that happen, then quite a few deaths would be rather intolerably put off to times that would be overextended. Now, I'm sure you have moral obligations and oppositions to the idea of stealing life from your fellow humans and stuffing it into yourselves greedily to defy the inevitable. But for me, it is... consider it a professional insult to bypass me and go to my employer and work rather directly against the very core of my existence, which is to have people reckon with the inevitability of their own death, and to instead sell them a solution that, no, death can be defied, if only for a time and only if you pay me. And don't think about what happens if something other than time comes for you. You just don't think a thing about death at all. I'm selling you the solution. What I'm saying is I want this man's empire destroyed, and I want him weeping in the streets in ashes as he laments ever crossing me.
I imagine you may have heard that he had once again narrowly avoided his death.
I understand every single death that man has dodged, and could believe me, that is a very long list.
It seemed...
Almost as many ways as I've seen the city of Gem die.
It seems...
Yeah, no, like there was a note in mine if it ever naturally came up to mention that Dokuzan has been summoned in Gem, and it did not go well because it saw like 80 billion different ways everyone died. It was like, damn, you live like this?
It's been a running joke in the Exalted community for different reasons that Gem will explode in some way, in some form. It's a universal constant.
There is a city in the south called Gem, and the writers over the period of writing for the setting kept putting more and more doomsday devices in, around, or near Gem. Like, Forsaken Lion, who I mentioned earlier, he's... one of his primary invasion targets is Gem.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Gem is on top of an active volcano that is set to explode within the next couple of years. It's, like, literally inside the volcano. It is, like, on a very volatile trade route that the guild might start a war over, and on and on and on and on. So it basically becomes a running joke for a lot of people who have been in the Exalted community for a long time, that as soon as any apocalypse starts, as soon as anything goes even slightly sideways, Gem is the first victim. Gem will just explode arbitrarily.
In this campaign, if the Loom of Doom, Fallen Stars project ever goes off, Gem will be ground zero.
Right.
Yes.
It's essentially the horny teenagers in the beginning of classic horror
it is.
films.
Oh my god, yeah.
No, it is the equivalent of the two horny teenagers at the start of every Friday the 13th movie.
Yes.
You look at them and you're like, oh yeah, you're gone. I don't know how, but you're gone.
It's canary in the coal mine for the end of the world.
there is a
Yes.
sidereal whose job it is to live there full time to desperately try and put out all the forest fires of destiny.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, no, Gem is genuinely one of the parts of the old writing that, if not fully intentionally, is still very hilarious. Because, like, it's tied into, like, the Thousand Dooms were a big problem for writing, because at a point it's like, well, why bother if the world is going to end anyway? And, like, also, why, usurpation and all that sort of shit. Gem inevitably just detonating when someone turns their back, no, that's funny.
Yeah, for reference, the villain's overall mega plot and the driving thrust of this campaign is a meta joke of she's going to win by making the Thousand Dooms canon.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Oh, goodness.
But yes, now you have successfully gotten the second circle demon to reveal that its primary motive is actually just being a petty bitch about Wario.
Right.
Oh, goodness.
Well, I can appreciate your candor. I definitely... Tepet Etep is definitely within the list of priority targets to deal with. Although, he is a tricky motherfucker to catch. I had to chase him across the entire length of Malfeas just to get him to talk to me.
Well, you put in my name in the right places, and I'm sure you'll be able to get a couple of doors open for you that would get you into a easier starting position for that run next time.
Stargazer just kind of nudges Gavel. Well, there is one place he probably will be. It's when the All-Thing happens. I take it he didn't write himself in that itinerary, did he?
Oh, true.
No, yes, he will be at the All-Thing, as will all of the Green Sun Princes. It just kind of trails off and stares into space for a second.
I hate that. You just like, I hate that hedgehog.
I hate that miserable hedgehog.
Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and say a read intentions roll to get the precise emotion that is coming across.
Alright, I'm going to attempt to roll read intentions. If I roll a 2, I will cry into my hands.
You know what? I don't know if the subject of what...
There we go! That's
That's
what
an
we've been
8.
waiting for.
There's rolls. Solar's when ties.
Aura is finally capable of perceiving the world within...
This is also above what would normally... Like, you just, like, punch through it. So, like... It is giving not so much a deliberate lie of an illusion that it's being mad about Tepet Etep, but it trails off as though listening to something after it mentions the All-Thing. Like it's craning its neck to hear something quiet in its ear.
Like someone give it... Like a whisper. Somebody... Yeah. So I was thinking. Huh.
1 second. The hiss from controller on the other line.
I'm getting a call for he's like, I'm getting a call from corporate. We need to finish the scene.
No, it's actually, like, it's not finishing the scene so much as it literally just kind of trails off and almost seems to forget you're physically present as it is enraptured by something you can't hear.
Aura will, for the first time in the scenes, crack a small smile and say, huh.
As this has been going on,
I guess it...
Oh, you first, sorry.
I guess that talk of little impotencies was more accurate than I thought. Oh? That's cool.
As this has been going on, Nue has kind of approached the water that this demon has been just kind of hanging out in front of, and kind of leans down to look into it. I guess while we're here, I may as well see if there's anything special about this water.
I was thinking of drinking it when I first saw it because it looked like water and I was thirsty.
Alright, hang on, I'm the full moon here. Give me a second. And she cups her hands and lifts it to her mouth, pausing before taking a drink to look at Aura. Well?
Yeah? I mean, do you want me to do it? Are you gonna do it or should I do it?
I mean, I probably have a solid chance of surviving if there's something horrible in it.
if you insist, you could knock yourself out. I can help you out if something bad happens.
Yeah, I feel like this is a good way to get on that demon's good side.
Is it? It's water.
I mean, there's other information and shit that he's been pretty cagey about, or they, or...
Yeah. You get it.
That this entity, yeah. Alright, fuck it, and she downs it, and I'm gonna go ahead and make a fortitude plus physique roll boosted with an excellency.
Wow.
Yeah, this is one that Niue does not want to fail. I will just say that.
Ooh.
Alright, that's a 9.
I would say that's enough.
Mm-hmm. Probably DC 7, or difficulty number 7, but
Yeah,
that's
it would be
enough.
7, yeah. So it's very clearly, it's enough, but also, oh god,
Ooh.
for her.
Right, you immediately see her eyes dilate, and she just kind of plops, falls over, writhes like a worm, probably turns into an actual worm.
Actually, probably starts raising her hands to her ears and clawing at them.
Yeah, that's why she turns into a worm. Worms don't have ears.
Yep.
Oh,
And
no.
as she is writhing, that kind of jostles Dokuzan out of the reverie and looks down. Oh. I didn't know that could happen. Interesting.
You didn't? It's your water.
Very few to... Well, that's not exactly my doing. He says, gesturing to Niue writhing on the ground.
She definitely goes through a handful of different shapes. You see Aura writhing on the ground, turns back to her spirit tiger shape, to her deadly beastful transformation, then finally to her normal, 5 foot tall, tiny little fierce goblin body. Why do you just keep that puddle of water around? What the hell's wrong with you?
I am that puddle of water.
Oh.
Sorry.
So I take it from your reaction that, you heard them, didn't you?
I'm not a fucking fan, yeah. Gods, I'm lucky I remembered the trick to temporarily make myself an animal brain for a bit. Ugh. Yeah, she absolutely used that lunar trick of giving herself the intellect of an animal to avoid.
Yeah, beast mind metanoia.
Yeah, that was absolutely used here.
Lythander, after hearing this, would like to attempt to drink the
No,
water.
you wouldn't!
Oh
Do it! Dokuzan's not gonna stop you, do it!
Aura will attempt to stop you.
I will attempt
no! Aura finesse plus athletics.
Okay, thank God my athletics is big. I will attempt. Okay, this is stupid. I will
Lythander, contest with finesse stealth.
Actually, hold on. Can I do this?
I'm going to use
For
my
this?
excellency in stealth,
Spend 1 mode, double 8s.
which is linked to fortitude, which is going to give
Yep,
me
go ahead.
9,
Would this count as a swift escape?
12.
You're not escaping.
no.
Damn it.
Lythander's escaping, not you.
Oh no. I can't use lightning speed for this.
7.
Oh my god!
Wow.
I will
7
drink the
success.
forbidden soda!
7 successes to fucking crab scuttle up to the demon that is the lake and chug it.
Oh no!
Unfortunately, I do not break through it. That's only
You're not fast enough!
That's only 5.
Alright, I'm just gonna be the one that goes ahead and narrates what happens here.
Yeah, sure, I'll go ahead and grab my glass of water.
So, Lythander, you dunk down and get a handful of the water. It's cold. It's actually surprisingly cold.
Tasty.
You raise it up to your lips and drink. The first thing that strikes you as strange is that it just tastes like regular water. A little stagnant, maybe, kind of a little has been sat here for a while, but normal water. As you drink it down, you feel the cold begin to spread through your chest and your abdomen and up to your head. And then you begin to hear a voice in your ear. And you can't quite make out what it's saying. And you strain reflexively, almost as if against your own will, to listen deeper. And it goes deeper into your ears, and deeper, and louder, and louder, and louder, and louder, as you realize that this is not being spoken in a language that you understand. This isn't a living language. It is, in fact, the deadest language.
You see, I will now use my lunar ability to understand any language.
Oh, no, you don't need to use that.
Oh, okay.
You understand perfectly what this is. This is screaming. This is begging. This is desperation. This is cursing. This is howling. This is scrambling at the door. This is spitting blood in the eyes of the solar above you. This is begging for mercy that will not be given. This is a horrified scream for release. This is the desperation of something that seeks suicide and knows it's impossible because it's already dead and death has no place for it. This is the sound of the never-born in your ears, screaming and begging and demanding and grasping you by the base of your mind and demanding that you unmake the world so that they can finally be let go. And the more that you are sunk into their howling and the more that you try to ride it out, the deeper you are dragged in. You are on the ground. Your hands are over your ears. You are unable to parse any other sensory information. You are in pain. You want to bash your head against the rocks until your skull cracks open to make it stop, to make the noise leave your head. It is ceaseless. It is relentless. And this is what Dokuzan hears every single moment after absorbing the fallen lower soul of the first and forsaken lion.
I can now understand why Spider feels this way, too.
Yeah, Spider has those happen sometimes, too.
Oh, no.
Yeah, now you roll the fortitude, what was it, fortitude physique? No.
Yeah.
Like,
fortitude integrity, yeah. Add a
Yeah,
stunt
fortitude,
just from
integrity.
how fucking ridiculous you doing this after seeing Nue almost fucking have her head explode was.
Yeah.
Alright, you said fortitude plus integrity.
Yep.
Yeah.
With a stunt.
Alrighty, now let's go, baby. 8 dice, let's get those 10 successes needed to
Oh,
not
no.
die.
Oh boy.
Wait, fortitude, integrity plus a stunt? Don't you have the integrity excellency?
No. Not integrity.
Oh. I see.
I'm dead.
Oh my.
No.
goodness.
Or
You're not
mentally
dead,
stunned.
however, you're having a very bad time. I will give you one thing that you would learn from this set of whispers, is that as Dokuzan was listening after trailing off at the All-Thing, there are visions in your brain of the green sun falling, of blood raining from the sky, of knives, of hunger, of ripping each other apart, of demons falling down into oblivion themselves, of endless visions of violence, of contradicting themselves, of one demon will stand at the top of the mouth of oblivion, tossing another in before the scene inverts and the places change. Just carnage and death and unmaking as a ravenous desire. And Lythander, I would say, by rolling 2 successes, I would not say that you get whispers as like a permanent feature. However, you are able to write this out without literally harming yourself to make it stop. You're going to be dealing with this for a little while, probably, like, at least the rest of the day until it's purged out of you, or, like, someone else, like, literally gives you Beast Mind Metanoia or something, because you literally drank the juice that is the Second Circle Demon that has a Death Lord stuck inside of it.
Now, I will say there is one other thing Lythander has as a potential answer. Shattered Yoke Fury.
That is true.
I will do that and just get very mad at the Neverborn.
Okay!
I already have that. Oh no.
Upgrade that to Major if it's not already.
Oh wait, no, I don't have that. I thought I had that, but it's a
Well, you do now!
Major
Which we now have an intimacy of negative intimacy towards the Neverborn for basically whatever the hell you want. You have a lot of justifications to hate the Neverborn at this point.
Yeah, hey, fuck you! Just because you're in suffering doesn't mean you have to drag the rest of us down with you.
Ooh, actually,
Dokuzan,
question, can this
meanwhile,
not
is
be
just sat to the side
hatred,
of
but
having
wanting
watched-
to release it of its suffering, but in the most cruel way
Huh.
possible? Making everything live.
Oh
Yes!
yeah.
Yes,
so
you
Dokuzan
can!
is off to the side of this revelation of agony and is actually just looking completely fascinated by this.
This is Dokuzan making the sicko's face the
Yeah,
entire
no,
scene.
literally, that is the emotional response it's having. It's just like, oh, I've never. Oh, you are interesting.
New Age just kind of crawls over to you, still just kind of on the floor. You know, when we were both on the ground after Roxy made us do that stupid bullshit, that was at least physical pain. This is some bullshit.
Oh, actually, where is Roxy? She might actually enjoy this. She should have a sip too.
Oh,
And
no,
then
she summoned me enough times to know.
and then Aura just kind of slaps the water out of your hands. Stop it! Stop that!
Like they're developed
Okay,
for another
I'm gonna
time.
say, as you slap the surface of the water, Dokuzan's physical body jiggles the tiniest bit like it's the reflection in the water.
I wonder if this causes any of Dokuzan's first circles to spring up as a result of all this turbulence.
Actually, yes, this is a great moment for you to be introduced to Dokuzan's first circles. Are you familiar with the cultural myth in real life and, like, a lot of places of drowners?
No.
The spirits that live in lakes to lure people to the lakeside and then pull them in to drown them?
Oh,
Kelpies,
right.
essentially. Minus
Every-
the
Yeah,
horse.
like Kelpies or Drowners or Rusalka, all those.
Right.
Yeah, Dokuzan's first circle demons are every shape of those, and you have just agitated them to the surface of the water.
So, a zombie corpse just runs out of the water and just screams directly in your faces, Ragara will die at the hands of his own son! And then runs back in.
Or no, more accurately, it's probably pulled back in as they're all arguing with each other and yelling prophecies.
Oh, yeah.
Great. More. Just what I wanted.
Wait, you know who?
Sit up, Kajak will be killed by his own student!
The Scarlet Empress's fate will never be discovered!
Where's Spider in all of this? Lythander says out loud.
Spider is in the cadaverous torpor technique death coma right now.
Right.
Until it would cause the most problems for you when he wakes up.
Oh, yeah.
He should
That.
drink this.
You should.
He already has whispers, so that's a bit moot.
Yeah, but think about it, though. Think about how funny.
You know who doesn't have whispers, oddly enough? Sky Thundering Shadow.
Eh.
I don't know if Dokuzan's ever directly interacted with her, but she...
No, not directly. They have semi-directly interacted with the Death Lord, but not Shadow directly.
This is a weird, messed up bioweapon you have here.
It's my body.
It is.
Men and beneath kill each other in a mutual duel!
Yeah, at this point, Dokuzan is just kind of has stepped back from like talking or receiving. It's just more entertained by the fact that two people in a row decided this was a good idea without even consulting the demon and just fucking consumed the physical body of a second circle to begin with, let alone one that they literally showed had a piece of the fucking Death Lord in it. And it's just sat there like, I don't know, man. Crazy times.
Cherry flavor.
I feel like this crew of people has exhausted my ability to come up with interesting things to say about them.
You know what? Due to his shaping ritual of having observed the stars of hell, that is enough free will gathered for flames of unyielding purity. As Stargazer weaves sorcery together and belches forth the web of colorless fire that purifies shit, and is going to try and just
Rip
fucking...
the whispers out of the two of them.
Yes.
No.
It works for Nue. I don't know if it does shit for Lythander.
Not Lythander is just crazy anyway. So I mean, what else would it do?
Well, he rolled 3, and I would say probably. If I was the ST and I'm the guest, so what I would say is Whispers is a very debilitating thing to give a player character long term without a big ass warning. So I would say that this is a transient enough case of Whispers that the Sorcerer's Ritual would help it go back to sleep.
Right, that sounds reasonable. Especially because Lythander is a second circle necromancer himself, so this is something that he may have brushed up on the periphery about the Neverborn being fucking pissed 100% of the time.
Yeah.
I can't wait for my mushroom children to make the Neverborn hate life so much that she doesn't suffer.
Actually, there would probably be some of Lythander's children here, curiously staring at the water's edge as some of them wander up to the drowned and begin playing with them.
Yeah, the drowned probably pull them under and then just sort of stare as they're like, wait, these things don't breathe, what do we do?
Yeah, exactly.
Like the drowners are just very, like simple-minded and direct enough that they just grab, hold, pull under, and then when it's like, this isn't dying, now what? And Stokazan, at this point, again, it's very much just, the demon has encountered a group of player characters and no longer knows how to react to the situation and is just kind of vibing.
God, I'm still stuck on stupid bullshit deaths for assorted player characters. Smiling Rat will be assassinated by a falling meteorite!
Wait, actually, what... Is Amir Jr. here?
Yeah, there is a small mouse of the sun that is just kind of curiously going up to Dokuzan and sniffing before retching a little.
Dokuzan actually recoils in genuine fear from oh shit! Oh god, actual embodiment of the blessing of soul. Get back! Eclipse cast? Yeah, you have the diplomacy, alright. You don't necessarily hurt. The Mouse of the Sun is one of the most direct embodiments of Soul's will outside of the Solars. It just the moment it notices that there is a Mouse of the Sun, it actually just recoils back ah!
You ever see a mouse growl? Well, you have now.
Yeah. That mouse is probably just alright, fuck you too, buddy.
Yeah. Mouses do hiss, I think.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's Amir Jr.
Just thinking to myself, oh shit, a rat!
Oh shit, a rat!
That whole thing.
Shake that rat!
Tom.
Oh shit, a rat!
Thinking that
Just
one
does the
TikTok
dance.
of the woman at the grocery store just yelling, "Stop! Stop!"
The demon grows like the Tom and Jerry a woman's dress, stands on a stool.
The woman's legs and dress to stand on a table and scream.
Yes. Interesting.
God.
Interesting.
I will say now, I said at the top of this, when you were oh, I don't know too much about the setting and I worry about that. If anything, you vividly remind me of my group of players, and several of them in terms of the joys of people who are still engaging with the setting in good faith, but being fucking clowns about it. This is good times.
Yes.
This is good memories.
Wait.
That's my
I'm
cat.
doing it in good faith?
Oh,
Yeah. Yippee!
yeah.
As far as I can tell.
Yeah.
You drank the cursed water,
Yes.
and now you and I'm imagining Lythander's reaction to the Neverborn is now, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Also, looters get 1 dice flat that breaks cap for anything they have an intimacy about.
Oh.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
All right.
I can now be big and strong and somehow get that 21 successes.
Perhaps.
No, I'll get that mythical 42 successes against the Netherborn.
Wiping the bits of Dokuzan from her mouth, Nue stands up and looks at Dokuzan. All right, if that was enough of a fun light show for you, can you give us any more information on Etep, then?
As I said, he is currently gardening under the auspices of my patron, Kagami. And
Why is Kagami helping him?
I can't fucking tell you.
can't
Just,
or
like,
won't.
just
There's a
sincere,
big difference here.
like a sincere, bone-tired, I don't fucking know.
People,
I didn't know he knew the 4-letter words.
well, as a negotiator, I can tell you, a lot of the times you just kind of go with it. Whatever Tepet Etep has to offer Kagami, it's probably enough. It's,
If nothing else, perhaps amusement.
yes. Regardless,
Actually,
yeah, we really should.
But beyond that, I have told you everything I know about his schemes in particular.
There is one other thing that comes to mind as a storyteller. Aura, this is gonna sound weird. Roll me Fortitude Integrity, difficulty 3.
Oh. That's a good thing I have that integrity excellency that allows me to do that. Let me just check. Oh, Fortitude is indeed my lowest attribute. Let me just see the 13. Hey, finally some good rolls in the son of a bitch. Nice.
Hey, Aura,
Holy shit!
you have the distinct impression there's something else you could learn from this demon.
This demon?
Yes.
Okay. Do I get an indication of what that is?
Are you gonna give him a hint? Or
What?
Oh, yeah,
Like what?
from 10 successes, yeah.
Yeah, like that's like fucking 13 successes. Go ahead and just say it.
Yeah, given a chance to study from this demon, you would be able to gain the ability, the charm. Let me see exactly what the name for it was.
Yes, I believe I called it Brush with Death Recollection.
Yeah, spend a mote, and you would be able to learn the most recent way someone avoided death.
Yeah, that is an Eclipse OK charm that this demon has, and at this point would be pretty willing to teach you.
Ooh.
And you have a banked exalt milestone.
I have to think of a cool way to think of to brush the topic to our friend here.
I do think that there is a small shape of... Gavel has seen through Roxy's tail. She could see that there is a bird flying above whose claws are bending the wrong way. Very clearly look down at Dokuzan. You swear that you hear the bird hiss in the irritation of someone you really fucking don't like that you bump into on the street. And then it keeps flying.
And also, as Dokuzan very glibly said, Roxy has summoned Dokuzan several times. They know each other, like, beyond just, oh yes, I'm aware of their existence. No, I know, like, they know each other.
Regulars, yeah.
And she does not like dealing with them.
Yes.
Yes, and they enjoy fucking with her.
Excellent.
Because, it's not really a spoiler to say, Roxy's got a whole lot of ways she's almost died, and she's got a lot of complexes about needing to be the most powerful person and, survive and maintain her power at all costs. And here's the demon that constantly reminds you that all of your efforts in that regard will eventually fail.
Yeah, I don't care that you've lived beyond your lunar shelf life and have some means of immortality going. And that's gonna fail eventually.
It's just a demon almost custom designed to prey on her personal, fears. And she just hates it so much, even though it's really useful to use against other people, she hates it.
I know that you stuffed your heart inside of a chicken, and stuffed that chicken inside of a tiger, and stuffed that tiger inside of a bear, and stuffed that tiger inside of a yetum. Someone's gonna get to all the bottom of that eventually.
Turchick Dedum.
New lunar warform unlocked.
Torchic.
Ugh, horrifying.
Dokuzan.
Yes?
There is one last thing I must ask. Forgive it of me if it seems a bit forward. If there's one thing I've learned when it comes to conversing and convincing people is the best thing one can do in order to reach an agreement is to find a commonality and go from there.
Understandable.
In witnessing the possibilities you have laid out before us of possible ends not met in the road. I feel like this would be a way, like this could be some way I could, that if I had the capacity to demonstrate this, the connection, the fact that we beat on, ceaselessly born back into the past to our mutual associate Ouroborous, I might be able to more easily convince them that Adrian does not have the best interests, their best interests in mind. I guess what I'm trying to say is, can you teach me?
Far be it from me to turn down a willing pupil, especially one willing to spread the wisdom that I seek to bring. Now, as you are one of Soul's diplomats, this should be a relatively easy process. Show me your caste mark.
All right, I take off my hat.
Ooh.
They shift again into Aura's form, and this time, Aura's chest is not burned open, but pried open. The ribcage has been cracked and the sternum removed to show the heart has been pulled out completely. As Dokuzan approaches, bites one thumb to draw blood and puts it on top of Aura's caste mark with a sizzle. And Aura simultaneously understands, in a way that it transcends words, how to look at someone and their bearing, how to extrapolate from the way they carry themselves, how their very being has changed from an interaction with death, and intuit what that kind of death is. This subconscious understanding of the marks that mortality can leave on people, as well as a brief full-body vision as that understanding sinks in. It is a vision of a city of gold. Aura is laid down across Aura is laid down across the floor with a man made of solid gold above the body, who raises his hands and extends outward, layering himself across the city. And from there, the vision goes black.
He's still... Yeah. I don't know if I should be surprised or relieved. There's another thing to add to the list. Thank you.
Something really weird just occurred to me.
Hmm?
What's the most recent death Dokuzan themselves? Their most recent brush with death?
Their most recent brush with death is probably a incident of the Silent Wind.
Oh no.
Yeah, that checks out.
Oh wait.
Because that's just something demons have to deal with, like, all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, there actually is something I do remember related to Tepet Etep.
Yes,
that
this is
probably
something
makes...
I was about to mention. Yes, Tepet Etep has had the ability to tame some part of the Silent Wind in some way.
That's probably related then.
Yes.
and part of why he's so venomously hateful of it.
Oh no.
Yeah, the Silent Wind is supposed to kill everyone. What do you mean you were just able to stare there and
What do you mean that the thing that is the ultimate equalizer of Malfeas just ignored you?
It's called iframe, head ass.
It's called Aura.
God.
Get good. I'm plus on block.
Oh,
You're not
no.
stopping me.
No, it's too fuzzy. I can't read it.
Block this overhead!
I have learned the martial art technique that is the wave dash.
Sorry.
I've learned the ways of the infinite combo. Yoshi, can you say the same?
You might say to yourself. Well, that was French.
Sorry, Ligier. Tiger Drop negates all damage.
You might say to yourself, well, why does he have a motorcycle? That's a very stupid gimmick. Actually, no, and when you see high-level play, it's quite busted.
This is slowly turning from Wario into Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
Look, Wario is not one of the voices I can do very easily.
No, that's complimentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a process.
Yeah.
With this corrupted peach of immortality, I will harvest youth from all across the tri-state Malfeas area.
With my peachinade.
Oh,
Anyway, Mega Man X8 soundtrack weapon get. Guitar,
pretty
guitar
much.
riff.
Yeah, so specifically how the charm works when we homebrewed it is that you get the perspective they had of the death that they avoided or the near-death experience. You personally may understand context in the scene the person did not, but you do not get any sort of special magical insight of like, oh, I know exactly who that is, or like being able to see things that they would not have. Like, if they could not have perceived a magical effect, you just don't see it, unless you're using other tricks.
Right.
And this is also vulnerable to distortion if some kind
Yes,
of...
any anti-divination manipulation, like arcane fate or
roll-ups would be
deliberate
required.
solar stealth charms, all of those are in application, so you can't use it as 100% reliable.
Right. Gotcha. But it's a surprise tool that may help us later.
No, like, as we were homebrewing it, I kept thinking of more and more uses, and I was like, god damn, this is actually a really powerful effect for how simple it is, as I was thinking of use case scenarios.
Indeed. It's very, very adaptable.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it is at this point that a figure is visible at the very edge of the pond.
Mm-hmm.
You notice the creaking of wheels as one of the other Infernal Exalted that you saw in one of the qualifying rounds of the tournament approaches. In the artifact equivalent of a wheelchair is called a war throne.
Yes.
It appears to be made out of corroded green orichalcum with what looks like wheels made of moon silver, as it just glides across the ground with an uncomfortably wet noise, but not as uncomfortably wet as the entire environs you've been spending this episode in.
We've acclimated.
You recognize this as the face of the woman on the pirate ship who almost flattened you on the journey across Cecilene.
Oh.
Well, here you are already.
Here I am.
I was here.
Yeah?
Glad to see that you were strong enough to survive the journey, and hello to you too, Dokuzan.
Oh.
Dokuzan, you've never met this woman.
Dokuzan just kind of gives a polite greeting back out of just, you know me, and you're clearly one of the Green Sun Princes, so you're technically my boss, but okay.
Mm.
A formal introduction will have to wait for later. As for now, I see that you turned down my invitation to the auction, which, while annoying, I could sense that she's using the perfect bargain effectively. She automatically knows, like, some of the context of why you're here and the fact that Lythander has obtained the information that she was going to effectively massively overcharge him for. And size, I came with you to discuss the problem that is that idiot with the peaches.
Spectacular timing.
I will thank you. What I have to discuss with the bodies upon the water is my own business, but I will be in touch on my own front. And as she passes by Gavel,
Yesin.
By the way, one infernal exalt to another. I have some ideas on how to bring the rest of creation to our heels, should you seek any conquering ventures.
Sure, let's go with that.
I'll be in touch then. Continues to pass by, and, a bunch of the demons just start, the first circle drowns just start hollering all sorts of assorted fates to her, and she just kind of gestures, "You have an appointment to make tomorrow, don't you? Rest up." Oh, and by the way, Yolda will not live to see another of Ligier's sunrises.
Oh god, you're in on it too?
Dokuzan is just smiling at that.
Oh, jeez Louise!
If for some inane reason you intend on keeping him alive, and fuck if I know why, you'll have your work cut out for you.
Oh, jeez.
Best of luck.
Man, people really hate.
All right, and
Man, people really hate that guy.
I can't imagine why.
can't imagine why being the anthropomorphic personification of tyranny would rub people the wrong way.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've specified before.
You have.
A bunch of the major unquestionables have been implied to take like shapes inside the city. Ligeia is the sun, Orabilis is the night sky, Ouroborous is like a bunch of the darkness. Yolda is the castle. He is the embodiment of the absolute center spire at which the highest of the high in Malfeas dine and house at.
So Yolda, you said?
Yep.
I have an intimacy of hatred towards Yolda.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So, with that, I think probably is, the last, unless any other pressing questions remain for, Mr. Water Death Fun Times Happy Vision Future Man.
I would like to pour... excuse me, my friend. Do you taste anything in your waters?
That is a profoundly distressing question when I don't understand your motive. Why?
I pull out a packet of sugar and flavorings.
Oh. Offerings. Yes, I would accept those.
I just make the dankest Kool-Aid of all time.
Oh my goodness.
Now here's a question. Do you pour the sugar from the bottomless flask?
Yes.
Well, I was concerned someone would attempt to use this fountain, this lake as a form of bioweapon manufacturing, but it appears that Lythander has once again beaten me to that idea. Thanks, Lythander.
You're welcome.
Far away in the underworld, many of the teratomas and maws of screaming terror in the labyrinth spontaneously get cavities.
Well, that's another problem they have to deal with now.
Full mouth cavities, too. Not even just one tooth.
Fuck, the dental in Malfeas
it's real
is
bad.
real bad.
No,
You ever get a cavity on the teeth inside of your teratoma? It sucks, man.
No. The Infernals are specified to have dental. Gavel herself confirmed this earlier. The Underworld doesn't.
Yes. It's true.
I say this very fondly. Y'all are fucking stupid.
Correct.
Like, this is an affirmation, to be absolutely clear. This is me fondly giving a thumbs up. Y'all are fucking stupid.
I don't know if it's possible to have a purely serious player group.
No,
no
it's
matter what
not. And
game.
if, like, no, fucking... If you're
Stupid
not having a
stupid
good ass time
nonsense
with some
again.
of your tabletop, what are you doing?
Perhaps, but that's a question for another day. I guess this is probably a good space to end off. Darren, you have anything you'd like to shill?
I'm not really doing any internet-facing public work right now. A lot of my stuff I've been busy in my decidedly offline work. I do library stuff.
Okay.
But really, honestly, I would say if you want to check out my stuff, you can look up a Raving Loon on twitch.tv. Or on YouTube, and the Crimes of Nature actual play is the one that I ran. And the Pit Crew streaming group, as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of them, is a really funny group of motherfuckers. GamerX is in a fair amount of their Discords, and can back me up on that, and I really suggest that you watch their stuff, give them follows, or whatever the fuck, and they're really funny. Also, I'm not currently involved in the kind of restoration and maintenance projects of it, but I did write for a Gmod mode called Jazztronauts you may find funny if you find, like, screwing around in Gmod maps and messing around with them interesting.
I actually forgot that was a Gmod thing. I now have an excuse to check out Gmod again.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I was the editor for the writer on the project. I was the editor for the writers on the project, and I wrote the cellist as the primary character that I wrote. And it's a really good time. I don't really have much to do with it directly anymore. A lot of the fans have picked up its maintenance and ongoing projects, and I wish them all well. But yeah, those are kind of that and the LP archive stuff, like I did a Breath of Fire 4 LP, I did some of M. Dickey's games back in the day. But yeah, those would be the major things that you could look at that I've done. They're mostly in the past. I intend to get back to doing something at some point, but life has been busy.
Yeah, understandable.
So...
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, next time, normally that would be Eolda, but it sounds like you guys think that, Ouroborous is a higher priority, but we could discuss that in between episodes. Either way, some kind of big social encounter or a boss fight of some variety. One of them is definitely a fight. The other is just a social encounter that almost certainly will turn into a fight. Pick your poison. Pit Crew's good people.
Yeah.
You know who's also good people? Our patrons.
Yes.
Woo!
Glorious
Yeah,
patrons.
no, like, y'all supporting this is really good. This has been really fun,
Indeed.
and this actual play has been pretty great. So.
Yep. And also thank you to GB and Storm for supporting us at the 6-sided dice tier, which we priced at $5 a month because there's no such thing as a 5-sided dice.
Indeed.
Well, there is.
Thank you all for coming by. In the future, major boss fights and pulls of some variety.
In fact,
we're going to be doing...
Vsauce Michael made a 5-sided dice.
No.
It's a Denarian dice.
Yeah.
Cursed dice sizes. In either case, more stuff coming in the future, and then major boss fight to close out the year with. Catch you next time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to FateBreakers. We here at the Action Economy crew are proud to bring you this and other AP content, like Tomb of the Red Giant, the first half of our complete JoJo's Bizarre Adventure AP, as well as Rune Runners, our Icon AP. We'll also have a Patreon by the time you hear this. If you like what you've heard so far, feel free to drop us a little bit of money if you can afford to do so, and we could bring you even more content in the future. APs live and die by word of mouth, so if you liked us, please drop us a follow, like, share, retweet, whatever you could think of to help us out. We are excited to bring you more bi-weekly content in 2 weeks from now for the next FateBreakers, and other episodes time permitting. See you then.